Hi, everyone. My name is Mike Bell. I have been with Rise Against Hunger on the community engagement staff for over 5 years, and I live in Houston, Texas, where the stars aligned and allowed me to cross paths with our guest here today, Cristal Montañéz Baylor. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, Mike. How are you? It's great to see you again. We've been working together for a little while by now. My name is Cristal Montañéz. I am originally from Caracas, Venezuela, but I have lived in Houston for the last 41 years. I am a volunteer with the Rotary E-Club of Houston. Rotary is one of the largest service organizations in the world. Actually, there are 2.1 million volunteers that contribute to more than 33,000 clubs around the world. Our club is one of those clubs. We work with teams through internet. It's an e-club, and we have members from all over the world that collaborate in the different projects that we're supporting.
Great. Well, I'm excited to chat with you today, Cristal. And back in 2017, I had the privilege of working with Cristal and her team to establish the partnership between our organizations to provide assistance to Venezuelans who are migrating to Colombia in the face of crisis. Cristal, can you tell us about how the Hope for Venezuelan Refugees project came about? What are the goals, and what is your role in the project?
Absolutely. The Hope for Venezuelan Refugee came about as a result of the crisis. We wanted to somehow, through the E-Club of Houston, respond to the food insecurity on the ground. A partner, a fellow Rotarian, Isis Mejias, and myself, created the Hope for Venezuelan Refugees with two main objectives. Number one, to provide meals, in this case, Rise Against Hunger meals, to the refugee migrants and workers that came from Venezuela into Colombia, and also the Colombian returnees. Those are the Colombians that used to live in Venezuela that the regime expelled from the country. And that's the word that they use. They expelled these people. So many of them didn't even have a way or a place to stay in Colombia. So when we partnered with Rise Against Hunger for this incredible project, that was the number one objective, to identify organizations that already were doing the job on the ground so we can increase their capacity and help them reach more people. Objective number two was, with the generous contribution of Rise Against Hunger, we were able to buy complementary food commodities in order to increase the nutritional value of the 45 Rise Against Hunger meals, and also to provide a local flavor to these meals, purchasing the local commodity. At the same time that we increase and promote the local economy, and hopefully it was our hope that that will help to decrease the xenophobia towards the migrants.
Wow, yeah. It's incredible to see the situation down there and the migrants being in harm's way and, being in such a high-risk situation. So through our partnership, Rise Against Hunger has provided over more than 435,000 Venezuelan migrants in Colombia with at least one hot meal each day for the past year. Can you talk to us about the impact of those meals?
Oh, absolutely. Rise Against Hunger provided 46 tons of Rise Against Hunger meals. Let me give you the exact number. 647,136 meals were distributed across 11 food distribution centers and 7 communities in Cúcuta, 6 shelters, and 3 distribution centers from the region of Los Patios all the way down to Pamplona. The project lasted 46 weeks. So I had the privilege to be on the ground several times, including when the Rise Against Hunger team visited all these different distribution centers, and have to see the impact, because the Rise Against Hunger meals got to be the pillar of the nutrition for all these centers. Everything else was served around the Rise Against Hunger meal. And why it was so important? Because for the period of time that we work on the ground, people knew what to expect. We have weekly distributions in Cúcuta and in Pamplona for that length of time, for 41 weeks. So the beneficiary organizations, our partners and allies, knew exactly that once a week they were going to receive Rise Against Hunger meals, and every 2 to 3 weeks, it depends of the availability, they will receive the complementary foods that included proteins like chicken, grains, lentils, eggs, included bread, vegetables, all kinds of different things to complement and allow the migrants to have a complete diet. So the impact was huge, very tangible. And the most important thing for us, for our team, is to hear the organizations that we work shoulder to shoulder for how long, talking about the project. And when in September 15, about that time, one of the other donors that was working parallel with us on the ground left, Rise Against Hunger and the Rotary Club of Houston and the Rotary E-Club of Cúcuta, our local partner, raised to the occasion, and we provided meals to all this population from September the 15th. Our last distribution was in December the 28th, and the utilization of the RAM meal lasted until January the 31st. So we were the only donor on the ground at that time. And I am very proud to say that, and thank you to Rise Against Hunger for all their support, not only to our team and allow us to implement this project, but to the hundreds of thousands of people that benefit from these donations.
Oh, yeah, Cristal, we are honored to be a part of it. And I'll never forget the first time we met, and you suggested that we try to put some Rise Against Hunger meals onto a container that we were trying to ship. And I asked you what else was going on the container, and you told me teddy bears.
Yes.
Of course, among other things, but that's always stuck with me because it's a reminder of how important it is to be able to create hope in a situation like this. And something as simple as a teddy bear for a child can really, do that alongside, especially the meals that are provided. So what is your vision for the Hope for Venezuelans Refugees Project moving forward? Hopefully this all blows by and you can get back to, moving forward with the goals of the project. What is your long-term vision for it?
Yes, I see that once the shelters are open, because the truth of the matter is all the food distribution centers and shelters that we supported, they are closed by national and local government orders. However, I'll tell you a story in a second. So once everything is regular again, back to normal regarding the COVID-19 and all the regulations that are in place that need to be in place, I would like to see that we continue with the project, because the crisis in Venezuela is not going to end up now. People are going to continue to migrate from Venezuela, and the natural, easiest way for them to go are two different countries, Brazil and Colombia. Most of them choose Colombia, where there are 1.8 million Venezuelans at this point. So the country, Colombia, is not only trying to deal with the challenges of the migration crisis at this point, also dealing with the COVID-19 crisis and the natural crisis of border countries that Colombia has to deal with. So the situation, to say the least, is very complex. So the story that I want to tell you is one of the shelters that we support that is on the road where most of the walkers decide to walk, to go to different cities in Colombia or other countries. Unfortunately, the coordinator of the shelter, considering that the shelter is closed, went to see the volunteers that are living in the shelter, holding the ground. And he found a young woman on the floor, unconscious. They picked this woman inside, and when she recovered, the first thing she said is, "I am so hungry, I haven't eaten in a long time." So she actually fainted for hunger. So the number one need in Colombia right now, and all the countries in Latin America affected by this crisis, is food. And actually right now, because of the COVID-19, hand to hand with health. So we hope that we have the privilege to continue working with Rise Against Hunger in Colombia, to continue helping and hopefully expand our ground of work on the ground once the health crisis is over, so we can help with this primary need of helping the food insecurity and also improve the condition of malnutrition at this point, not only of the Venezuelan refugees, migrants and workers, and the Colombian returnees. And notice that I mention all of them because it's important to mention all the categories, but also the local Colombian vulnerable populations that at this point are suffering greatly. We just did an investigation on the ground and actually are building a rather large database. We're collecting data from those Venezuelan people who were settled in different areas where we're working, that work in the informal business, in the informal economy. And of course, with the restriction and the quarantine at this point, they cannot do that. But next to them are the very poor Colombia in the category of poor historical or poor vulnerable that cannot work either. So it's a very complex problem because it's the migration with the local population. Through Rise Against Hunger, we help several of the local populations also. We partner with the food bank of the diocese de Cúcuta, and we help one community called Comuna 9, and we help 7 different communities in that sector. Also in Pamplona, we develop a small project, sort of like a pilot project, to help the local extremely vulnerable community through our local partner in Pamplona, the Foundation Banco de Alimentos de Pamplona. Fundación Banco de Alimentos de Pamplona. And it was extremely successful, and people were very extremely grateful. They love the product. They love the Rise Against Hunger meals. The pictures that we have, I will invite everybody to see those pictures from each one of our projects, because they're very heartwarming to see the real impact that an organization and a team of volunteers are making on the ground.
Yeah, that's great. There's a lot of work to be done, but it's been really rewarding to hear about the work that we've been able to accomplish together and serve those in crisis in Colombia, and to learn more about your vision for the future. So we really appreciate you joining us for the virtual event today. And to read more about our partnership, please visit riseagainsthunger.org/crisis response. And thank you for tuning in.
Thank you, Mike.